Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars for taking care of business against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't want to disrespect them in any type of way in this video. They beat the Steelers 20-10. The Steelers are terrible offensively. And I've went in on Matt Canada before. This is my final straw with this team. The Steelers have this agenda. Let the contract run out and then we'll find another replacement or we'll look within. That's been the Mike Tomlin way. The defense is not even close to the reason why they're losing football games. This is one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and it's not because of personnel. Deontay Johnson does have a problem when it comes to dropping the football. He has some drops in this game, especially the first pass from Kenny Pickett, but that's not the reason why they're losing football games. It's the play calling of Matt Canada and the inconsistency of Kenny Pickett. A lot of people will come out and say, well, Kenny Pickett is not at fault here. He's at fault. He underthrows a lot of passes, and he went out in this game. And I'm not saying that Kenny Pickett is a bad quarterback, because to me, he's just in a bad situation. I need to see him with a different offensive coordinator. They can't run the football with Najee Harris, who was a first-round pick. Looking back at that decision, they should have selected an offensive lineman. In this game, it showed how horrible coaching is on the offensive side of the ball. And it comes from Matt Canada. I've said it over and over and over again. Fire Matt Canada. I wasn't even saying it this season. People started jumping on the bandwagon this season. I got proof. You can go look at my channel. I have videos talking about this last season. Even when Mr. Trubisky was a starting quarterback last season, he was a terrible offensive coordinator. And it showed even more. Mr. Trubisky is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. He had to come into this game. And I don't even want to put all of it on Mr. Trubisky. He's already terrible. But the play calling made zero sense. It's the same short route concepts over and over again. And Mike Tomlin allows it to happen. There is no reason to why an offense should look this bad. It's a JV offense in the NFL. They look like a JV high school team going against the pros on the offensive side of the ball. They can't run the football. They can't stretch the field. Sure, they'll get a couple splash plays here and there. That's it. They'll get their George Pickens touchdown, their George Pickens big play, and that's it. It's the same slant concepts. It's the same curl concepts. It's the same run up the middle with Najee Harris, run to the left with Jaylen Warren. And Matt Canada just switched it around just a little bit. Instead of run, pass, now they'll come out, pass the football, then they'll run it. Then they'll throw it for 3 to 4 yards when it's a 3rd and 15 or a 3rd and 10. Let's just do a screen to Jaylen Warren. Over and over again. It's the same play calls. The same thing. That's what it is. And they will go out there and they will beat teams like the Los Angeles Rams. They'll go out there and beat teams that are below 500 because their defense is so dominant with their pass rush. Their secondary is barbecue chicken. I will say that. The secondary looked better in this game without Levi Wallace. Levi Wallace should not be a starting corner with this team, by the way. But Mika Fitzpatrick went out in this game as well. Cameron Hayward's been out since week 1 against the 49ers, dealing with a groin injury. You do have some injuries. But it's the fact that you're able to keep these games close and your offense is so bad. Kenny Pickett cannot stretch the field consistently because he does overthrow certain passes. He underthrows some passes as well. He's still young in his career, but he deserves some blame as well. But a lot of it is the play calling. When they do stretch the field, it's just vertical routes down the sideline. That's it. It's the same song and dance, man. It's the same thing. They have one of the worst rushing offenses in the NFL with a guy like Najee Harris. Najee Harris had 7 carries for 13 yards. That was it. And his longest rush of the day was 3 yards. You had Jaylen Warren, 5 carries for 19 yards. That was it. The second leading receiver behind Deontay Johnson was Najee Harris, 5 carries for 42 yards. And do not let that stat fool you. Most of that came in garbage time late in the fourth quarter. They just can't get things going offensively. Until they fix this offense, they're not going to go anywhere. And they're not going to fix it this season. Sure, you can go out there and win games in weird ways if your special teams go out there and they block a punt like how they had against the Baltimore Ravens. If your defense go out there and they get some interceptions, they can get a pick 6. Sure. Look at that Cleveland Browns game Monday night. It took a fumble for 6 by TJ Watt, and it also took a pick 6 by Alex Highsmith to go out there and to win that game. You have to win game with your defense scoring. That's ridiculous. And I'm not calling Trevor Lawrence a bad quarterback because he is a franchise quarterback. But there is no reason why the Jacksonville Jaguars should be able to go out there and win this type of game in the fashion that they won it in. 20-10 was the score, but they dominated majority of the game. It was a late touchdown in the third quarter that went to George Pickens. And that was it. They went completely away from it. They don't feed George Pickens enough. Instead, they just try to dump the ball down and hope their playmakers can make plays in space. They can't get things going. The offensive line is also up and down at times. They're inconsistent. But this Steelers team, this is what they have a tendency to do. They'll go out there and they'll get a major win. And then the next week, they'll drop an egg like this. They'll go out, get a major win, and they'll win by 3 to 7 points. And they'll give you hope, and then they'll snatch it right away. Matt Canada is a terrible offensive coordinator, and I'm not even blaming Matt Canada for it anymore. I'm looking at Mike Tomlin. You allowed this to happen. Back-to-back years, this man's been the offensive coordinator, and the offense looks terrible. People were saying that Big Ben was washed his last season. That may have been true, but this offense looks exactly the same. And it looked the same with Randy Fichtner. This offense is brutal, and it's been brutal for the last couple of years. Ever since Mike Munchak left as offensive line coach, the offensive line cannot block at all. They can't give him protection because there's no reason why Kenny Pickett should be knocked out the game with a concussion last season, and he's getting blown up again this season, and it seems like he may have bruised or broken ribs. That's why he left this game. And Mr. Trubisky had no time in the pocket either. That's why he was running around. He did make one good play to where he ran across to the sideline, and he threw the ball over the middle of the field to Deontay Johnson. That was a beautiful play. But besides that, they can't get things going. And look at what I just said had to go in favor for them to get those big plays going. Heroic efforts, because the offensive line is terrible. And the play calling is horrible. If you're not getting those heroic efforts, you're not going to win any football games. Now, on the defensive side of things in this game, they did a solid job against stopping the run at times. Travis Etienne finished the game with 3.3 yards a carry. That's impressive because the Steelers have had a tough time stopping the run with Cameron Hayward. Evan Ingram did have 10 catches for 88 yards. They could not tackle him in space. I would like to see him do a better job of that. But it's hard to do that when Micah Fitzpatrick went out early in this game with a hamstring injury. Cole Holcomb is the best linebacker for this team. He's not one of the best linebackers in the NFL, but he's their best linebacker in the interior. And he's not a horrible linebacker. He's solid. But Landon Roberts, Lord have mercy. Man, that's all I got to say about him. Calvin Ridley, 6 catches for 83 yards, had a big first half, didn't have the big second half. Like I said, their defense is not the reason they lost this game. It was their offense. But let me know in the comment section, man. How do you feel about the Steelers moving forward? Can they turn things around? I'm completely checked out at this point. I think they'll be a team that finishes just above 500 because that's the Mike Tomlin way. The Mike Tomlin way is to finish above 500, maybe miss the playoffs, be on the playoff bubble, but it's definitely to finish above 500, and it's definitely this too, to have an offense is one of the worst offenses in the NFL and continue to say that he likes what he sees on the field. Fans have continued to say, fire Canada. They just gave up today. They didn't even say fire Canada because they know it's not going to happen. Mike Tomlin needs to grow a backbone and fire Matt Canada. But let me know in the comment section below how you feel about the Steelers team. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. And shout out to TJ Watt for always coming in clutch because no one else on the offensive side can come in clutch. But shout out to TJ Watt for doing his thing on the defensive side, and same with Alice Highsmith as well. Most importantly, when each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive, have a blessed day. Peace.